Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a completely different type of video. The inspiration for this video is from a YouTuber named Pikasprey Yellow. He did a video where he tried to beat Pokemon Red and Blue with only a Ditto. Watching his video gave me the idea to do this video. So if you guys can't tell from the thumbnail, today we're going to be asking the question, can you beat Pokemon Platinum with only a Riolu? But before we get into the video, I have to break down some rules. Rule number 1 is pretty obvious. We can only use Riolu to do damage in battle. Rule number 2, I'm not allowed to use any cheats, glitches or exploits. Rule number 3 is another obvious one. I am allowed to use HM slaves because Riolu can't learn all the HMs. Just to make it clear, when I say I'm not allowed to use cheats, I obviously had to cheat to get Riolu at the start of the game. Just to give you guys a little taste of what it looks like, this is a level 100 Riolu. So these stats are pretty bad for a level 100 Pokemon. So this was all recorded before the challenge even began, so let me guys know if you think I can win in the comments. Now with that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Start off, the game asks about my gender. For an unknown reason I chose boy. Then it asks about my name. I tell the game my name is Brad because I'm dumb and uncreative. For the same reason I named my rival Barry. For an unknown reason I shrink down and wake up in my room. Me and Barry then meet up on Route 1 outside of town. Then me and Barry are rudely interrupted by an old man. The old man offers us both a Pokemon, and because I was never taught about stranger danger I take one. Then I choose the Riolu that for some reason looks like a Piplup. Now it's time to battle my rival. This being the first battle, my rival is kind of a pushover, and I take his Turtwig out with only 2 quick attacks. Afterwards at the lake I run into a guy who's definitely not called Cyrus. Back at the lab he asks to see my Pokemon. I hope it's not a euphemism. Afterwards I name my Riolu after one of my subscribers' captures. Then I learn how to catch Pokemon from the old man's assistant. Now it's time for my first battle. He sends out a Starly which I easily take out with 2 quick attacks. I give my rival a parcel. He then gives me a town map which I will never use. Captures then learns Force Palm, which will be really useful for this run. I then journey back to Route 1 so I can catch 2 Bidoof and 1 Starly for HM slaves. I then get a watch from another creepy old man in Jubilife City. And then it's time to battle my rival again. To start off, my rival sends out a Starly at level 7. To make a long story short, I one-shot his Starly and 2-shot his Turtwig with quick attack. At this point in the game, my rival is a walk in the park and I head to the gym. When I get to the gym, my rival tells me that the gym leader is slacking off somewhere. When I find him in a cave, I tell the lazy bastard to get back to work. Back at the gym, it's time to battle Raw. To start off, he sends out a Geodude. Geodude is no hassle, I take it out with 2 Force Palms. Next up is Coronet, which I surprisingly one-shot. Last up he sends out Onyx, who only takes 2 Force Palms to take out. With Force Palm this battle was super easy, taking out all of Rock's Pokemon on 1 and 2 shots, but from here on out the game gets much harder. But with that done, we receive the Coal Badge. After my victory, I head back to Jubilife City where I had my first encounter with Team Galactic. And as you probably assume, I show them no mercy. Shortly after that, I arrive in Floroma Town. I then clean some rodents out of the windworks. I then arrive at Eterna Forest where I meet a girl.
Hello? My name's Cheryl. And you are? Okay. So your name's Brad. Pretty plain. I'm sincerely glad to meet you. Brad? May I ask a big favor of you? I want to get through the forest, but I'm afraid of doing it alone. I've heard that there is a sinister group of people called Team Galactic about. I think there'd be safety in numbers. Please, may I go through with you?
I obviously say yes.
I'll keep your Pokemon in perfect health.
I unfortunately have to say goodbye to Cheryl at the end of Eterna Forest.
I'm sure we'll meet again somewhere. Bye for now.
After all that, I arrive at Gardenia's gym. First, she sends out a Turtwig, which I take out with 3 returns and it heals 1 for the potion. Next, I take out Cheryl with a crit 1-shot return. Last up is her Roserade. With Roserade, I got really lucky and she missed 2 Sunspores and I hit 3 returns to take her out. And with that, I take out Gardenia and claim myself the Forest Badge. This gym took me a long time, and instead of grinding, I just kept at it until I eventually beat it. It was like 30 plus attempts, and if that gym wasn't hard enough, next up is the Ghost Gym. Next I find out that Riolu can't learn Thief, which would be really helpful against the next gym. After that Soul Crushing Discovery, I crush Team Galactic to make myself feel better. Just when all hope seems lost, Riolu learns Copycat. Now if you're wondering, the reason I'm so happy about Copycat is that it copies the last move in battle, and if you didn't know, Ghost type is super effective against itself. So pretty much what this means is that I won't have to use Struggle in the next gym battle, which will make it so much easier. And as you probably already know at this point, Riolu doesn't learn any of the moves that are super effective or can even hit Ghost type Pokemon. So really, Copycat is my only option at this point. After receiving my bike, I head for the battle with Fantina. So on my way to the battle with Fantina, I get the XP share and run to the guy who's definitely not called Cyrus for the 3rd time. And now for the battle with Fantina. On my first try against Fantina, I did try the struggle strategy just for a laugh. And to my surprise, it actually went pretty well and I got to a Miss Magius. And for a second it seemed like I might actually beat her, but of course I didn't. So now it's on to attempt number 2. On my second attempt, I obviously ditched the struggle strategy because it was idiotic to think I'd win with it. And this time around, once again, I got to her Miss Magius. The only difference being this time I was almost at full health. Now when it came to this battle, it didn't go as smoothly as I would have liked it to go. The reason for this was because she kept spamming Confuse Ray and Psy Beam. The battle seemed like it would go on for ages until this happened. Now at this point in the battle, I was confused and she had to see Shadow Ball, so if I managed to break through the confusion and hit Copycat, I would definitely win the battle. And in what seemed to be a bloody miracle, we break through the confusion and hit Copycat, which means we copy the Shadow Ball and easily take out Miss Magius because Shadow Ball is super effective. And with that hell of a battle over, we finally received the Beacon Badge. We also received TM65, which is Shadow Claw, a ghost type move. And in what seems to be some blessing from the gods, Riolu can learn it, which means no more struggling to beat ghost type Pokemon. After the ordeal that was that last gym battle, it's time to battle our rival again. Start off the battle, he sends out his Starlia that has evolved into a Staravia. But because I am such a high level, Staravia is kind of an insult, so I take it out with 2 Force Palms. Next up is Blazer, which I take out with 1 shot thanks to Force Palm. His third Pokemon is his Turtwig, which is now a Grottle. This one's a bit harder, but I still take it out in 4 Force Palms. Last up is his Ponyta. I run out of Force Palms here, so I'm forced to use Rock Smash. Luckily, Ponyta is super weak and only takes 2 Rock Smashes to take it out. And with that, I crush my rival once again. After defeating my rival, my path is blocked by a bunch of stupid ducks. Soon after that inconvenience, I arrive in Veilstone City, and that means it's time for another gym battle. She starts off the battle by sending out her Meditite, which uses Fake Out. I take out Meditite easily with 2 Rock Smashes. Next up is Big Brother Lucario. Lucario starts off by slapping me in the face with a Force Palm, and I end the battle by picking up a rock and smashing it over Lucario's head. Last up is Machoke. I take out Machoke with only 2 Rock Smashes, and with that we have crushed the 4th gym leader Maylene, earning us the 4th badge, the Cobble Badge. We also received TM60 Drain Punch. After having another run-in with Team Galactic, I arrive in Pastoria City. Next I have to battle my rival outside the gym. This time around my rival is a lot harder. I managed to make it to his Buizel, and because I forgot to buy heals and he has Aqua Jet, which is a priority move, he easily takes me out. This time around I get to Buizel again, but this time Aqua Jet does nothing because I'm basically at full health. And I easily take him out with 1 Drain Punch. And once again I defeat my rival and it's time for Crash Awake. Start off, Crash Awake sends out a Gyarados and I literally have no attack to hit this with. And of course Gyarados easily takes me out and I don't even get it to half health. And sadly this is my best attempt out of like 20, so now I have to think of a new strategy. After doing a bit of research, I realized there is one thing I can do. There is a move tutor on Route 212 that can teach my Riolu Thunder Punch. All you have to do to get this move is to exchange him shards, which you can find underground using the Explorer Kit. After spending a decent amount of time underground looking for shards, I find just enough to get the move. With Thunder Punch now in my arsenal, it's time to reverse Crash Awake. It only takes 1 Thunder Punch to take Gyarados out because it's 4 times super effective. And maybe because I'm 23 levels higher. Next up is Floatzel, who I take out with only 2 Thunder Punches. Last up is this Quagsire, which is a water ground type, which means Thunder Punch won't be able to hit it, which means I have to use Drain Punch. Luckily, a critical hit Drain Punch is enough to take it out in 1 shot. And at this point, we have taken out the 5th gym and defeated Crash Awake. After defeating Crash Awake, I get the secret potion from the chick who gave me cut earlier. What a helpful stranger. With the secret potion, I can finally get rid of those annoying ducks from earlier. With that done, we arrive in Celestic Town. After giving the old charm to the stranger's grandmother, we finally get to battle the blue-haired man, whose name is actually Cyrus. Who would have guessed it? I was so surprised. He starts off with a Sneasel, which is actually 4 times weak to fighting. Spoiler, I took it out in 1 shot. Next up is Golbat, the most generic bad guy Pokemon ever. Again, I took it out in 1 shot using Thunder Punch. Next, he sent out his Murkrow. And of course, this goes down in 1 shot as well. Let's be honest here, this battle was a joke. After acquiring Surf, I arrive in Canalave City. Now I can finally get rid of Rock Smash, which I accidentally taught to Captures earlier. And then I teach Captures Dig, which is another coverage move. And with that, it's time to battle my rival again. Firstly, he sends out his fully evolved Staraptor. Unfortunately, Thunder Punch didn't take out Staraptor in 1 shot, but I do Paralyze. Because Staraptor is paralyzed, he doesn't get to attack and I take him out with my second Thunder Punch. Next up is Heracross, the bug fighting type. It takes 1 Thunder Punch and 2 Drain Punches to take out Heracross. Next up is Rapidash. This is why I learned Dig for the fire type coverage. It only takes 1 Dig to take out Rapidash. Next up is Floatzel. It only takes 1 Thunder Punch to take out Floatzel. Last but certainly not least is his Torterra. Now it took 7 Drain Punches to take out Torterra. It didn't help that he kept Giga Draining and Leech Seeding me. And with that, we defeat my rival again and it's time to head to the Steel Gym. Firstly, Byron sends out his Magneton. Magneton is a 1-shot kill with Drain Punch. Next up is Steelix. It only takes 2 Drain Punches to take out Steelix. Last up is Bastiodon. Now Bastiodon is super tanky, so it took 7 Drain Punches and 2 Digs to take it out. Also, he healed once of the full restore. With that out of the way, we have defeated Byron. And that battle was harder than I thought it would be. Pun intended. With the 6th gym down, we received the Mine Badge. We also received TM91, which is Flash Cannon. After defeating Byron, I head to Lake Valor to verse Team Galactic. After wiping out all the grunts in the area, I have to verse Commander Saturn. If you want to know how easy this battle was, I only took 15 damage. Unfortunately, it was the same story for Commander Mars. After those extremely difficult battles, I arrive in Snowpoint City. And with that out of the way, it's time for the 7th gym battle with Candace. First, she sends out a Sneasel which used Aerial Ace, so I was a bit worried. I completely forgot that Drain Punch is 4 times super effective against Sneasel, so I one-shot it and get all my health back. Next up is Frostlass, the Ghost Ice type. So because it's a Ghost type, I can't hit it with Drain Punch, so I choose Dig. It only takes 2 digs to take out Frostlass. Next up is her Obama Snow. You probably wouldn't have guessed, but Drain Punch took Obama Snow out in one shot. Big shocker. Last up is her Ghost Line, which unsurprisingly also only takes 1 shot to take out with Drain Punch. And with that super easy battle, we defeat the 7th gym leader, Candace. We then obtain the 7th gym badge, the Icicle badge. After beating the 7th gym, it's time to battle Cyrus again at Team Galactic HQ. Honestly, this battle was an insult, so I'm not even going to bother showing it. After defeating Cyrus, it's time to head to the top of Mount Coronet. The random stranger from earlier asked if I want to jump into a hole with her. Sure, why not? After getting lost in the abyss for about 30 minutes, I eventually find Cyrus and it's time to battle. So this battle was so unbelievably boring and easy that I ended up winning with full health without having to use potions. Now I was going to show you this battle because it's the last battle with Cyrus, but I didn't want to waste your time. Now it's time for the battle with Eterna. Now I decide to fight Eterna instead of catch it. In some sort of miracle, Shadow Claw takes it out with 1 critical shot, and I only had to heal once with a hyper potion. And with that we have taken out the legendary Eterna. And now it's time to head to the final gym. After arriving in the town with the final gym, I find out from a guy named Flint that the gym leader is kind of a sook. I head to the lighthouse so I can talk some sense into the lazy ass bastard. It's surprisingly not too hard, but now it's time for the battle with Wagner. Firstly he sends out a Jolteon. And surprise, surprise, I take it out in 1 shot with Dig. Next up is Riolu, which I also take out with 1 shot with Dig. Next up is Electrify. Surprisingly this time Dig doesn't 1 shot, but my next Dig does take it out. Last up is a Luxray. It only takes 1 Dig and 1 Drain Punch to take out Luxray. And with that we have defeated the final gym leader, Wagner, and claimed the Beacon badge. Now it's time to head to Victory Road. Now before I head to Victory Road, I go back to the move tutor and replace Drain Punch with Ice Punch. Now it's time for the final battle with my rival. He starts the battle off with Staraptor. First Thunder Punch being Staraptor down to just about a quarter health, then he hits me with a critical aerial ace, but I just survive on 1 health. And then my second Thunder Punch takes out Staraptor. Next up is Rapidash, and I start off by using a Hyper Potion. He starts off by using Bounce, but I use Dig, so his Bounce ends up missing. Unfortunately my first Dig doesn't take it out, he ends up losing on like 1 health. Luckily enough, my second Dig does end up taking it out. Unfortunately Rapidash did burn me in this battle, so it dropped my attack, so I have to heal that. After healing my burn and my health with a full restore, it's time to battle Snorlax. You probably already know how tanky Snorlax is. My first dig on Snorlax did just under half damage. My second dig put Snorlax's health just in the red and my last dig took it out. His next Pokemon is a Heracross. My first Ice Punch froze Heracross and did just over half damage. My second Ice Punch obviously took it out. Next up, my rival sent out a Floatzel. As you can probably assume, this battle was super easy because I took Floatzel out in 1 Thunder Punch. Last up is his starter, Torterra. Now this is another reason I got Ice Punch because it's 4 times super effective, so I take Torterra out in 1 Ice Punch. And with that battle out of the way, we have defeated our rival for the last time. Now before my battle with the Elite Four, I decided to grind up to level 90 because that battle was so hard. First up is a Bug type Elite Four member, Aaron. First up, Aaron sends out a Yamega, which I take out with 1 Thunder Punch. So I chose to equip a Razor Claw to Riolu for the Elite Four so it increases critical hit ratio. Next up is Drapion, which is a Poison Dark type. Now because of Drapion's poison typing, Dig almost takes it out, leaving on like a little bit of health, but it heals with a Citrus Berry, but fortunately enough my Ice Punch takes it out. Next up is this Heracross, which is a bug fighting type. My first Ice Punch knocks Heracross to just below half health. Next he uses a close combat that almost takes me out. Luckily I outspeed him, so I'm able to get off a second Ice Punch, taking out Heracross. Next up is Vespiquen. I use a 4 restore at the start of this battle. Vespiquen uses Defense Order, which raises its defense stat. Unfortunately this is bad for me because I only have physical moves. Luckily though, even with the defense increase, Ice Punch still does over half health to Vespiquen. Even with Vespiquen using a second defense order, Thunder Punch is still able to take out Vespiquen. Next up is Sizzle, the Steel Bug type, and actually my favourite bug type Pokemon. So for the battle with Sizzle, it takes 2 Ice Punches and 1 Dig to take it out. And with that we have taken out the first Elite Four member, Aaron. Next up is a battle against the Elite Four member, Bertha. To start off, he sends out a Wish Cash. Now this battle ends against her Golem when he uses Earthquake against my Riolu when I'm using Dig. I decide it's time for the inevitable and I grind up to level 100. Next time around I get up to her Golem again, this time with full health. I hit her with an Ice Punch which almost takes it out. This time it's Earthquake that's under half damage because now I'm level 100. Unfortunately she heals with a 4 restore, but my Ice Punch gets a high damage roll and takes her out. Last up is Rhyperior. Start off the battle I use Ice Punch which takes Rhyperior down to a quarter of its health. Rhyperior then hits me with an Earthquake which takes my health into the red. Luckily I outspeed Rhyperior, my second critical Ice Punch hits and takes it out. We all know that crit mattered. And with that we have defeated Bertha, the second Elite Four member. Next up is the third Elite Four member, Flint. Now this battle was so easy. I took out everything in one shot with Dig without taking any damage. Now this battle was kind of a disappointment, so I just sped it up so you guys can watch the destruction as it happens. Is it just me, or does every Elite Four have like one member who's like really bad? Let me guys know if you agree. And with that we defeat Flint, the third Elite Four member, by far the hardest battle in this freaking game. Next up is Lucian. Now here I was expecting a really hard battle because he's a psychic type trainer and I'm a fighting type. But unfortunately, like Flint, I slept through his entire team in one shot with Shadow Claw. Man, these last two Elite Four members were super easy. Wasn't expecting it at all. And with that, we have defeated the last Elite Four member, Lucian, and now it's on to Cynthia. Now I make sure I use the max elixir that I saved from earlier before battling Cynthia. The reason for this is because I'm going to need Ice Punch for 3 of her Pokemon. So to start off the battle, Cynthia sends out her Spirit Tomb. And with a critical Shadow Claw, I almost one-shot it. Spirit Tomb uses Psychic, which almost does half damage to me. Unfortunately, Cynthia uses a full restore. But because of the Razor Claw and amazing luck, I crit again, taking out Spirit Tomb in one Shadow Claw. Next up is Togekiss. My first Ice Punch brings our Togekiss down to red health. My first Air Slash misses, which gives me the opportunity to use a full restore. And then I take Togekiss out with a Thunder Punch. Next up is Cynthia's Roserade, which I hit with Ice Punch, taking out in one shot. Next up is her Milotic. Now Thunder Punch almost takes out Milotic, but it survives on 1 health. Cynthia uses Surf, which does under half damage to me, and then she uses the full restore. Luckily it doesn't matter because my next Thunder Punch takes her out in one shot. Next up is Garchomp. Now this is the main reason I got Ice Punch, because without it this battle would have been so much harder. Now because Ice Punch is 4 times super effective, I take Garchomp out in one shot. If I hadn't have taken Garchomp out in one shot, I definitely would have lost this battle because Garchomp is such a powerful Pokemon. Now for Cynthia's final Pokemon, Lucario. I find it kind of funny that Riolu's final test is to beat its evolution. Start off I use Dig, it uses Aurora Sphere, but because I'm on the ground it misses. Miraculously, Dig somehow takes it out. And with that we defeat Cynthia on our first try. All that's left to do now is enter the Hall of Fame. In what has been a surprisingly difficult run, Riolu has finally defeated the Elite Four and entered the Hall of Fame. What a glorious moment. Honestly, this challenge gave me a new appreciation for Pokemon Platinum and Riolu. Honestly, I do suggest you guys try this challenge out for yourself, it's super fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this challenge video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.